The man discovered something while cleaning his wife's car. He found a receipt on the backseat floor. Upon inspection, it was a hotel room receipt. This confused Jack greatly, as they'd never stayed in hotels since getting married. Even stranger, the car's odometer showed an extra 10,000 miles, and there was an unfamiliar key on the keychain. To confirm his suspicions, he tracked down the hotel room using the receipt. When the key worked in the lock, Jack's fears were confirmed. Thankfully, it was daytime, so he didn't encounter his wife, but the messy bed told him everything he needed to know. Then Jack noticed a photo album by the bed. It contained explicit photos of his wife. There was also a photo of a man holding a child. Dazed, he took the elevator down, planning to confront his wife. Meanwhile, his wife was preparing for another date. She placed a pill on a plate. She split it in half. She dissolved it in a baby bottle. Then she added formula powder that was covered in ants. After shaking it thoroughly, she fed the poisoned milk to her young daughter. Soon the baby fell into a deep sleep. She didn't care at all. Instead, she happily left to meet her lover. But she didn't know that Jack, now aware of everything, was rushing home. When he saw the ants in the bottle, Jack panicked. He rushed to his daughter's room and found her unconscious. He frantically took her to the hospital. Watching his daughter cry in pain felt like knives in his heart. He decided to punish this cruel woman. The process would showcase Jack's brilliant mind. Jack was naturally introverted and struggled to express himself. The economic crisis had cost him his job. He spent his days as a house husband and reading romance novels in his spare time. His wife was the principal of a foreign language school. After Jack lost his job, she found fault with everything he did. Over time, their lifestyles grew apart. Jack lived frugally. His wife spent money extravagantly. One day, while she was with her young assistant, the front desk called. She hurriedly asked them to send Jack away, but her husband had been waiting outside for some time. The nervous woman unlocked the door. She composed herself. She told Jack she was organizing files with her assistant. Then she introduced them to each other. Jack became suspicious when he saw their awkward expressions. On the way home, he questioned why she was barefoot in the office. His wife said it was her choice. Angrily, she got out of the car. She told Jack she had a meeting and wouldn't be home that night. She went straight to the internet cafe with her assistant for an all-nighter. Jack used the hotel receipt and key to visit the assistant's home. After seeing the photos, he understood everything. He sat silently in the bookstore. That day, his wife visited the assistant as usual, but she was shocked to find a new baby toothbrush by the sink and baby toiletries in the corner. The angry woman confronted him. She felt more terrified than ever before. She had just wanted them to be happy together, but now the assistant had other plans. She knew it was time to end things. Back home, she changed her behavior completely. She started doing housework for the first time. She cleaned the floors until they shone. She even started dressing up at home. Then she noticed photos beside the mirror. She froze in terror. She suspected her husband knew everything, but fortunately, only she appeared in the photos. She carefully hid them deep in the closet. Before her husband returned, she busied herself cooking dinner. When Jack came home, he watched his changed wife in silence. During dinner, she lovingly cared for their child. She admitted her recent attitude had been poor. She hadn't shown enough care for the baby or Jack. Seeing this, Jack considered forgiving his repentant wife, so he didn't expose her shameful acts. Just as she thought their marriage was improving, the phone rang at home. It rang several times, but no one spoke. The nervous woman's heart nearly stopped. She feared it was the assistant calling. Fortunately, Jack saw a note on the table. He learned his mentor had passed away. He prepared to go out and buy proper clothes for the funeral. After Jack hurriedly left, the phone rang again. This time it was the assistant. The angry woman told him they were over. Why couldn't he let her go? But the assistant wouldn't give up. He asked to meet her. She wanted to refuse, but he said he was already at her door. To get rid of him, she agreed to meet at a bar, but the child was a problem. The desperate woman fed her the poison formula. Then she went to meet him at the bar. She planned to end their relationship clearly, but things weren't so simple. They both drank too much without realizing. She had no idea Jack had returned home early and discovered something wrong with their child. Meanwhile, the assistant carried her drunk self home, but Jack was also returning from the hospital with their child. What he saw around the corner shocked him completely. He stood frozen in place. Fortunately, he quickly hid behind the wall. This wasn't because Jack was weak. He was waiting for the perfect moment for revenge.